Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're back again with a conjunction video because I'm like, look, this is the end of the year. Might as well just finish it off with our two planetary conjunctions. So today we're going to be doing the last of our conjunctions, the last of the Mohicans, Jupiter and Venus conjunction. And as always, if you do not know, if you have Jupiter-Venus conjunction, what other planetary placements you have in your horoscope, for that check out the links here and check out my full astrological report, including my books, Astrology, Conjunction, and Aspects of the Speed of Light, and especially in my book Conjunction, you will find 2 all the way to 8 planetary conjunctions in your in the book, and how to read conjunction, because there are specific methods to reading conjunction. And conjunction is simply 2 planets in the same sign in the same house in a horoscope. So if you have Jupiter and Venus in the same sign and the same house in your horoscope, that is known as a conjunction. Well, guess who woke up? I'm sure you heard her waking up. It's my little monster. My little monster's waking up. Here, Pramila, you want to show them a trick? Here. Oh, God. I won't do it this time. So anyway, guys, Jupiter and Venus conjunction. And what happens when these 2 planets are in the same sign and the same house in your horoscope? Now, what is Jupiter? Jupiter represents knowledge, divine spiritual knowledge, higher philosophical knowledge, religious knowledge. It represents the law. It represents gurus, teachers. It represents celebration, happy times in life. It represents expansion. Anything Jupiter touches, it expands it. Jupiter represents food. Jupiter represents the basic necessities of life. It represents biology, zoology. It represents, the microbial life that created everything on this planet back 500 to a billion years ago. Who knows? That's what Jupiter is. And Jupiter, as you know, also represents classical arts, music, and dance. Now, what is Venus? Venus represents wealth and luxury. Jupiter is the significator of wealth, okay? So don't forget that. But Venus represents luxurious wealth, assets. Venus represents beauty, relationship, love, art, cinema, acting, music, anything creative, sensual, sexual relationships. All of this is Venus. So what happens when these 2 planets collide with each other and make a conjunction? That's what we're going to discuss. You have to go to your mom, huh? So when these 2 planets get together, what this first of all creates is something called Saraswati Yoga. And this is a half of the major yoga. What happens with Saraswati Yoga is when all the natural benefic planets are together, especially Venus, Jupiter, and Mercury, and waxing moon. When these 4 planets are together in one house, that creates the major Saraswati Yoga. This is part of the Saraswati Yoga, which is a creative yoga. Yoga for creativity, expansion of your creative horizons. And so what's happening now, everything these guys do, they do it big, they do it with passion, they do it with love. And it's all about attaining the worldly pleasure with this conjunction. What happens with this, first of all, Venus, as you know, represents her passion in life. And when Jupiter and Venus are conjunct, shows passion for knowledge, passion for understanding other cultures, other ethnic groups, other biological entities, love for animals, love for, vegetation, love for the planet. But what this also creates is that when these guys love, when these guys want to be in a relationship, they want to give, their love expands. They give you, they shower you with love in a way that you're like, whoa, I may not be able to handle this. You know, when you date somebody in high school and they're giving you gifts, they're giving you everything, they're giving you flowers, and you're like overwhelmed. you're like, I have not experienced these things. It's like Carrie Bradshaw experiencing some romantic guy from Italy. She does not know what that means. Same thing happens. These guys give so much suddenly because it's that expansion that Jupiter gives of Venus that sometimes people might get scared with this. But main thing to realize is that they want to do everything in the best way. But this also, I will not say negative way, but on the other side can also make a person love wealth and luxury and life of luxury. These are the people, who want the best things in life, the finest things in life. Instead of a normal champagne, they want to go for Cristal champagne. They want to go for Dom Perignon. And it's this conjunction that can, either shift them onto the side of attaining all the knowledge in the world, or it can shift them on the side attaining all the wealth in the world. They just want it. They want it big. They want it now. What happens, as you know, the closer the conjunction is, the more you're going to feel the effect. The looser the conjunction, the less the effect. So when this conjunction is like, 15 to 20 degrees apart, they become kind of middle. They go into this middle ground. They want the wealth. They want the knowledge. They want that expansion of love. They want that expansion of luxury. But as you know, in astrology, we study conjunction based on planets has the highest degree or the lowest degrees, right? And that's what we're also going to discuss with this. But this conjunction of Venus and Jupiter is very important in terms of understanding the dynamics of our creativity, because both represents creativity. See, Jupiter is the original creativity. Jupiter represents the classical arts, classical music, where Venus represents the music of today. Venus represents the cinema of today, the paintings and the arts of today. So when you mash these two planets together, it's like the culture clash. What happens is, this is a person who must express themselves in a new, innovative way, because they're bringing the old and the new, combining them together and throwing it out at the world. So creative wise, if this conjunction occurs in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 10th, and 12th house of a horoscope, you bet they are extremely creative. And especially if it happens in an air sign, it'll be this sudden blast up in the sky of creativity. So very, very positive conjunction, but there's, every conjunction has its positive and negative. The only negative thing you can say is that they want too much of everything. Too much of love, too much of relationship, too much of luxury, too much of wealth, too much of art and creativity. And some people may not be able to handle that. Their partners, their siblings, their parents will be like, man, you're too much into this. You are too much into that. You're too much into this. And many people may not be able to understand it unless they know astrology. So if I know somebody who has it, I'm like, okay, I know why they're expressing it the way they are. Now we're going to discuss what happens when Jupiter holds the highest degree versus, or when Jupiter holds the lowest degrees versus Venus holding the lowest degrees in this conjunction. So let's say Jupiter holds the lowest degrees. Jupiter is at 10 degrees, Venus is at 14, 15 degrees. What is happening is that Venus is on the throne of Jupiter. And what this does is that a person's ability to love, person's ability to form relationships and express themselves becomes very philosophical. It becomes very divine, very pure. And at the same time, it shows that they will pour their heart out to you when they are engaging in a relationship with you. They also, when they express their creativity, it is like out as this worldly figure. Whenever they do whatever they do creatively, they will do it big. If they make a music video, they want the helicopter, they want the limousine, they want the Ferrari, they want all the women, the yachts, everything. They must have that. So Jupiter is expanding the qualities of Venus. And also what happens with this Jupiter holding the lowest degrees is that more becomes the key word. Jupiter is about expansion. It's a big, big thing. So the space to attain love, to attain wealth, to attain luxury becomes very big here. So Venus is now collecting things. He's like, okay, Jupiter wants me to expand. I'm going to expand myself. However, if let's say Venus holds the lowest degrees and Jupiter holds the highest degree, what happens is these people are all about sensual pleasure. They're all about wanting to get a relationship that gives pleasure, relationships that gives opportunity to express their passion. What happens with this Venus with the lowest degrees is that anytime things might go haywire in a relationship, they might not be able to take it, or they don't want to be a part of it, because what happens is Venus simply holding the lowest degrees becomes very strong, okay? And with Jupiter, sitting right above Venus, just wants to expand their ability to love, expand their ability to, have that sensual pleasure come in. So when Venus is, getting this disturbance, they're not able to really handle that. It's like getting somebody very innocent and putting them in a stock market. They're like, okay, what do I do here? I don't know what to do in the jungle of stock market. So Venus expects sensual pleasures when holding the lowest degrees. Venus expects the luxurious life. And Jupiter, which is knowledge, which is our, karka for wealth, children, luck, family, because it's the karka of 2nd, 5th, 9th, and 11th house, it becomes very materialistic. They want to gain knowledge which can make the most money. They want to have kids that can help them attain more wealth, more prestige. They want to be part of a family that has wealth, that has money. But remember, these things will always differ with the sign that they're placed in. If Venus is in Libra versus Venus is in Virgo, might give a different, result here. Venus in Libra might give more emphasis on relationships. Venus in Virgo might give more emphasis on realistic, material wealth of life. Venus in Scorpio might get its sexual passion or its sexual energy expanded. So signs will matter here. But these two conjunctions naturally make a very powerful Dhan Yoga. They don't have to rule any money houses. Venus-Jupiter conjunction, especially in Trikona or Kendra houses, easily shows one will attain wealth, or any house for that matter. They will attain wealth through the things related to that house. Obviously, that yoga has to be activated through Mahadasha and Antradasha if these two planets are conjunct with each other. So overall, it's a very positive vibe, very positive planet. It's a happy-go-lucky planet, but with their aspects, conjunctions, sign placement, nakshatra placements, comes their shortcomings and, long comings. Okay? So guys, this was my analysis of Jupiter and Venus conjunction. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And again, if you want to know where your Jupiter is placed, Venus is placed, what conjunctions you have, for that, check the links here and check out my solar astrological report, books, and consultations. Otherwise, we'll see you next year. Bye-bye.